Hey guys, it's Mana here. I still can't figure out what's going on with my face cam, and it was annoying me during the editing process, so I'm just leaving it out for right now, and I will try to fix it later. So we're going to pick up where we left off, which was, we had just found out about Mizu, who is Yama's sister. Mizu is actually Japanese for water, and Yama is Japanese for mountain, so that's interesting. Not that the game told us that, that's just from Japanese I've learned. Anywho, we're going to jump back in and see what happens. I lace my fingers through the sparse blades of grass by my head until they dig into my skin. Too many names. Soji, Yahiko, Masato, Mizu. Can't do anything about them. You're the genius. Figure it out. I sit up abruptly, a sudden possibility crossing my mind. Could Soji have been the next target? Maybe the murderer was trying to drown him. Maybe he knew something about the murderer. But why wouldn't he tell anyone? I sink to the ground and back to square one. I don't know why Soji was in the river. I don't know why Masato's suddenly upset. I don't even know who saved us from drowning. I wearily hoist myself to my feet and shove my shoes over my soggy socks. The journey back to my apartment is only filled with more questions. The moment I'm back, I take a quick shower, still feeling grimy from the river water. As I soak my uniform in a tub of detergent, my phone suddenly pings in my pocket. I wipe off my hands before I steal a glance. Going home tonight. Parents signed exemption from curfew. You don't need me for anything, right? Going home. All of a sudden? Well, I guess that her house is only 1 hour away by the subway, but by the time she gets back, it's already 8:30. I'm fine. Everything okay? I wait, but I don't receive another message. Well, suit yourself. At least I asked. I hang my uniform over the shower and head to the living room, plopping down on the sofa. It's been such a long day. It's definitely nice to catch my breath for a second. Or not. I rarely crack the door open, but it's just Misaki, twirling her phone between her fingers in obvious worry. Misaki. Now that I think about it, she wasn't at school today, was she? I widen the gap in the door, pasting on a smile. What brings you here? Are you about to sleep? So early? What? Oh, right. Showered and in my pajamas. No, this is... it's a long story. What have you been up to? I didn't see you in school today. I was preoccupied with work due to the Kusunoki incident. I came to thank you for yesterday. You could have just called me. I wanted to thank you in person. Something about her tone tells me that isn't the only reason she came, but I'm really not in the mood to probe her about it. It was no problem. I'll see you tomorrow, Miki. I begin closing the door, but she stops it with her foot. Yama, is there something wrong? What makes you ask that? Answering a question with another question just proves that there is. I'm here if you want to talk about it. Besides, there's something I've been meaning to tell you myself. Might as well. Sure, come in. I step to the side so she can enter. She glances around my apartment as she slides her shoes against the wall. So this is your apartment? It's a lot cleaner than I expected. Thanks, I think. After her examination, she perches on my sofa. I slouch beside her. About my outburst yesterday. I'm sorry you had to see that. It's fine. You don't have to apologize. I do. I was out of line. I just don't want to affect your relationship with Rui. Don't tell me you're trying to pair us up, too. Misaki suddenly grabs me by the collar, a hard glint in her eyes. What's the deal? You've practically known her forever. I just don't feel that way about her. How do you feel about her, then? She's just a friend. She examines me for a moment, not critically, but extremely bewildered. It's clear that Rui doesn't feel the same way. Have you spoken to her about it? She wouldn't take it well. I'd only end up hurting her. Don't you think avoiding the subject would hurt her more? How would it hurt her? She's holding back in hopes that you make the first move. It's Romance 101, Yama. I can't exactly do anything about that, Miki. She sighs, releasing me as she slumps back into the sofa. I still think you should have a talk with her. Rationally speaking, she's right. Maybe it's unfair, maybe I'm being selfish, but Rui's my friend, first and foremost. I'm not sure if I want to lose that. I'll keep that in mind. She waves her hand dismissively. Anyway, mind explaining that bruise on your face? What? Oh yeah. The argument I had with Masato. I lay my head back, unsure of where to begin. Obviously, I can't tell her the whole story. I'm not sure how she'd react if I mentioned that I almost drowned today, especially since she knows about my condition. Got into a fight with Masato earlier. Really? About what? A sudden flood of negative emotions pounds at me as I recall the event. I don't even know. He just seemed angry. Kept telling me that I wasn't trying hard enough. I thought he was talking about track. He's been trying to get me to join track every day. But it didn't sound like it. I see. Misaki considers this for a moment as she twirls her phone between her fingers. I used to have a friend in Seto some years ago. At first, we never really got along much, to be honest. Every time I asked if he wanted to hang out with me, he usually refused, so I ended up dragging him along anyway. After a while, I started to think that he might have hated me. I could have just stopped talking to him, but it made me angry that he didn't want to tell me what his problem was. So one day, I just snapped at him. Thinking back on it now, I feel really bad for doing it. Because I didn't know that he was dealing with his own issues. Her words come out in barely a whisper, her eyes drifting to the floor. She's talking about me, isn't she? I feel a knot form in my chest as the memories from back then resurface. No, I'd rather not be reminded of that time. Not again. Not so soon. What exactly is your point, Misaki? My words come out harsher than intended, but I don't apologize. She seems a bit taken aback at my response. It's just, I think whatever's bothering Masato, it must be something personal. Otherwise, he would have outright told you what his problem was. I suppose she's right, in a way. It's just that Masato's so straightforward about everything. For him to be so roundabout now was just understandably strange. Anyway, I'm in the mood for some fresh air. What about you? I guess she must have noticed that she brought up a touchy subject. Sure, why not? I've noticed the school's rooftop is a great place for stargazing. We should go there now. The school's locked down at this hour. Curfew, remember? And your point is? Is she actually suggesting that we break into the school? I guess a change of scenery would probably do me some good. Lead the way. She smiles as she darts out into the street. I follow closely, taking in the brisk evening air. We pull up at the front gate, slightly out of breath. I slide my card through the receptor, but it only buzzes at me. What? The curfew keeps out off-campus students and automatically reports on-campus students who return late. So what, do we have to climb the gate? It's armed, Yama. There are laser sensors. My card is exempt, remember? She slides her card. Sure enough, the receptor blinks green. Misaki props the gate open with a smirk. Ladies first. You're such a gentleman. She only giggles as I pass through the gate. So where to? The classroom building has the side door for the janitor. It's accessible by key rather than card. We can head to the rooftop from there. When did you get the building key? Never. She darts to the side of the building, gesturing for me to follow her. I squint through the darkness as she kneels down, feeling the side of the building. Finally satisfied, she withdraws something from within her jacket. It's a plain fabric case, which she unzips and dumps on the ground. What is that? Shh! She picks up 2 thin metallic objects from the ground. They glint in the dim street light. Are those bobby pins? Yes, they are. She hastily bends the larger one at a right angle and snaps the smaller one in half, then turns to the door. I peer over her shoulder, trying to see. You're standing in my light. Oh, sorry. I crouch for a better viewpoint. She's usually focused as she threads the large pin at the bottom of the lock, pushing it downwards with her thumb. I didn't know you could pick locks. Don't tell my agent. What? Why would I do that? Don't post it on Patter either. Wouldn't even know how. Satisfied, she inserts the smaller pin into the top of the lock, wiggling it gently. Ah, there we go. I hear a satisfying click, and the door gently swings open. Misaki smiles proudly and waltzes inside. Well? Right behind you. She disappears into the darkness. I step after her. As we plod up the stairs, I decide to satisfy some of my questions. Neat trick. Where'd you learn it? It's better not to know. What if I want to learn? I doubt you're a criminal material, Yama. And you are? Come on, I'm just curious. Where was it? Finishing school? Princess training? A playful giggle betrays her amusement, but she quickly clamps it short. If you must know, District 6. District 6. If I recall, she had told Rui that she moved there with Satomi. We're here. Before I'm able to ask her about it, she pushes through the door and onto the rooftop. Well, she's right about one thing. The scenery is beautiful at this hour. Despite the noticeable light pollution, it's not difficult to see the copious amount of stars in the sky. Silver streams of glitter populate the colored expanse around the moon, smiling down on the bustling city below. Everyone turns into a bunch of stars when they die. If they did something to super-duper impress the heavens, I guess. I smile bitterly as I settle next to Misaki on the bench. Pretty, isn't it? Yeah. It reminds me of the time we met at the festival. You haven't changed much since then, you know. You were always a strong person. That's a bit of an overstatement. Misaki shakes her head, her expression solemn. Honestly, Yama, I mean it. If you weren't, you probably wouldn't even be here right now. What do you mean? Ruri had told me what happened after I left Seto. Oh, right. Do you resent me, Yama? Of course not. It's not like you wanted to move, right? Yes, but... She pauses, unsure of how to continue. I'm sure you still want to know why I moved, don't you? I would be lying if I said that I didn't, so I nod. She takes a moment to collect herself before speaking. Do you remember when my father had lost his job? It was around Rui's birthday. Yeah, I remember that. Well, when my mother found out, she wasn't exactly so understanding. Instead of supporting him, she actually blamed him for not working hard enough. You weren't assertive. You always let people walk all over you. You're weak, useless, pathetic. Misaki digs her nails into her skirt until her knuckles turn white. It wasn't his fault, of course. After the financial crash, my father's company went under, so there really wasn't much he could do. Eventually, he started working for a construction company. The pay wasn't all that great, but something was better than nothing, you know? He worked himself to the bone while my mother was out doing God knows what. Then, one day, he just never came home. It wasn't rare for him to take extra shifts, so I assumed that he was still working. But when my mother began selling his things, I realized that something was wrong. I still remember what she told me when I asked her about it. He's dead. He won't be needing it anymore. She turns to me. Her eyes shimmer in the moonlight as she wipes her face with her sleeve. John had died? I didn't believe her. I didn't want to believe her. Dead? How could he be dead? But he was. There was no denying it. They said he had overdosed on painkillers while he was out working. I wanted to believe that it was an accident, that he didn't mean to take so many, but honestly, I don't know. He was so stressed, so tired, so restricted. There's an ache in my chest as past images flicker in my mind. I grit my teeth in an attempt to dispel them. So, that's why you moved. Misaki nods solemnly. We couldn't afford any staying in Seto, so my mother and I moved to District 6 soon after my father died. I never went to his funeral, never said goodbye to my friends. We just left. A silence pervades over the rooftop as I digest this information. Although I don't remember Satomi much, I would have never imagined she would do something like that. Guess that explains why Misaki's resentment toward her. Do you still live with her? Jesus, Ame. Misaki averts her gaze again, twirling her phone between her fingers. It must be a nervous habit of hers. She couldn't care for me anymore. I eventually had to move in with my grandparents. That's why I'm attending the academy, and why I work part-time for Lotus. Ah. I noticed Misaki's hands trembling. As close as we were, it must have been hard for her to tell me about her father. I feel like I should comfort her somehow, but I haven't a clue how to go about it. It's mostly Ruri's department. An idea strikes me, and I whip out my phone, placing it on Misaki's lap. What's this? My phone. What does it look like? I don't know. What do you want me to do with it? I was wondering if you could show me how to use Pattern. She regards me with an upturned brow for a moment, but then breaks into a bright smile. Of course! Without hesitation, she picks up my phone and expertly swipes across the screen. First, you need to go to Patter's web address. Then you have to register for a new account. What do you want your username to be? Can't it just be my actual name? Only if you want it to be boring. So, what's the problem? I'll just choose one for you. Don't give me something too embarrassing, Miki. Don't worry, it'll only be mildly embarrassing. She taps at the screen in quick succession. When she's finished, she brings it up to my face. How's this? Yams. It's cute, right? I don't know. Too late, I signed in. Miki. Misaki giggles as she fiddles with her own phone by her side. Now you need some followers. I'll be your first. Followers? They're people who can view your pats. Pats? Pats are updates where you can type a message in 90 characters or less. You also have the option to attach a file to your pats. File? I know you know what files are, Yama. Honestly, I don't. Honestly, I do. I just want to annoy her. Files are pictures, videos, documents, things like that. Oh, interesting. A few seconds later, a soft ping emanates from my phone. There we go. So you're following me now? Yep. How many followers do you have? Have a look. Tap on my profile. She hands me my phone, and I do as instructed. Wait, this number can't be right. It says you have over 9,000 followers. There's a joke in there. How do you even get that many people? Misaki shrugs, as if she doesn't know either. I suppose it's because I work for Lotus. That makes sense. I take a moment to browse through Patter. It seems pretty self-explanatory. Write an update, your followers view said update, and they have the option to share it or with their own followers. Honestly, it's not the most exciting thing I've seen, but I can understand why some people find it addicting. So what should I post? Anything you want. Usually I try attaching pictures since they get more attention. Okay. Why not pat something about the stars? The Patter veteran must have noticed my confusion as she offers a suggestion. You wouldn't see the You wouldn't see them with my camera. Oh, you're right. Why not? No, you could... Misaki scrunches her face in thought as she glances around for something to pat about. Does she really put this much thought into it? Oh, what's that? I try tracing her gaze, but see nothing. I don't see anything. There, near the tree. There are a bunch of trees up here, Miki. She grabs my head and points furiously ahead of us. I strain my eyes in the darkness, trying to make out the faint image. Sure enough, I spot something small lying on one of the benches. Is that a cat? I don't know whether to be more surprised at Misaki's remarkable eyesight or the fact that there's a random cat on the school rooftop. Let's go pat it. What if it has rabies? It could claw you. Don't tell me you're scared of a little kitty, Yama. I never said that I was scared. Then quit complaining and follow me. Not allowing any room for argument, Misaki slowly stalks over to the mysterious feline, leaving me alone on the bench. I sigh deeply. I don't know why I bother. Fine, but I'm not touching it. I follow her lead, walking behind her. As we draw closer, the cat's ears perk up. We immediately stop in our tracks. It's gonna run away. Shh! Hearing us, the cat lazily turns its head in our direction. Its eyes glower at us in brilliant green. I don't think he's happy we disturbed his nap. It's a she. How do you know? Trust me, I've been around quite a few strays before. That doesn't really prove much, but I don't have the cat expertise to question her. Misaki inches closer. I hold my breath as she deftly lays her hand on the cat's head. Surprisingly, it doesn't jump up at her, instead focusing its attention on grooming itself. We should name her. You're not thinking of taking it, are you? Of course not. I'm not allowed to anyway. She says this dejectedly as she strokes the cat's black fur. Getting a closer look, I notice its right ear is clipped, as if it's been in a fight. What about Clipper? What kind of name is Clipper for a girl? You asked for a name, you didn't say it had to be good. What about Chocola? Chocola? It's perfect, don't you think? She has a black coat. I guess. Notification ping redirects my attention to my phone. Oh, right, I should probably go ahead and pat the cat. I aim my camera at Misaki and Chocola. Chocola yawns, but remains relatively unaffected by the picture. Now just type your message, and you've made your first pat. Alright. Unsure of what to type, I put something generic. On rooftop with Miki and Chocola. As I post the pat, I notice the timestamp on the update. Is it really this late? I should probably get going now. But Chocola. I'm sure I'll see her again. Probably. I think. Misaki stands up, elbowing me playfully. Then I'll race you to the bottom of the stairs. Before I have a chance to react, Misaki bolts away without warning. I speed after her, yelling in indignation, but smiling all the while. We don't just run to the bottom of the stairs. We stop only when we hit the gate, tapping the receptor in some twisted form of relay race. I win! You got a head start. Still won. You never did play fair. Take a moment to catch my breath before speaking again. Say, Miki. Thanks for telling me. She looks confused for a moment, but then seems to remember. I should be the one thanking you. Huh? For what? For listening to what I had to say. I smile warmly. Of course. I'll see you later, Miki. Good night, Yama. She slides her card, the gate swings open. I head back to my apartment, relishing the crisp night air, my dread all but dissipated. Sleep comes quickly to me. I awaken a daze, staring emptily at the ceiling. My jaw is pounding in pain, and my lungs are burning. Seems like drowning isn't great for your health. Who'd have thought? I briefly check the time. Still early. Way early. It looks like I've gotten yet another email. Crimson Crusade at lemonpost.com. Well, perhaps you do have a chance that you are not looking for because it frightens you. Do what you think is right, Mr. Troll, even if there are those who mock you or do not understand you. Best of luck. I just noticed the date, April 10th of 2018. I'm a little behind. It's so accurate that I can only stare in disbelief. A single ridiculous thought comes to my mind. It's as if I'm speaking to myself. But that's just crazy, right? It can't be. I was there when the first replies came. They came quickly. They came consecutively. I didn't lapse. I didn't skip. But there are ways to schedule emails. What if I knew how I would respond? No, this is stupid and ridiculous, and I just need to stop thinking. I hope you're right. None of my friends really get what's going on. I can't tell them either. What do you think the right choice is? There, the test. If the recipient knows what I'm talking about. I'm so paranoid. I stumble out of bed and change into my uniform, and then dig through the fridge for some breakfast. Porridge, fruit, eggs. Yeah. Akira. Why would Akira be calling me? Hello? Yama? Thank heavens. The relief in her voice is palpable. Is everything okay? Have you seen Rui? Please, please, please tell me you've seen Rui. She left the dorms and she hasn't come back and... Wait, slow down. She went home for the night, remember? Home? She sounds genuinely bewildered. Didn't she tell you? Silence on the other end. When Akira speaks again, her voice is shaking. Oh, yeah, home. Pardon me, Colonel. It slipped my mind like an eel on a peel. Did Rui not tell Akira? But how could Akira not know? They're roommates. More than that, they're best friends. Unless they got into a fight. Then it would all make sense why Rui went home all of a sudden, even if she could only stay for a few hours. Why Akira wouldn't know of her whereabouts. I could bring it up. It seems to be bothering her. I'm gonna ask. This sounds like it could be urgent. Did something happen between you and Rui? I really can't hide anything from you, can I, Colonel? I should feel accomplished, but the pain in her voice robs me of any sense of triumph. If you don't want to talk about it... No, actually... well... She trails off awkwardly. I decide to help her along. Want me to come to school? Could you? Well, I am physically capable of walking. Oh, poot, Colonel. You know what I mean. I'll meet you in the cafeteria in 15. Okay, thanks, Yama. She quickly hangs up, leaving me to wolf down my breakfast. I jog to school just as the sun begins to creep into the sky, washing the chilly night air with a hint of warmth. And I am going to end it here because I am all out of time today. Interested in knowing what's going on between Rui and Akira because they are best friends. They're roommates. You know, they were pretty inseparable at the beginning. So it's kind of weird. Things got weird between them, and I want to know what happened. Also, I'm very concerned about Misaki right now because she can come and go from the school as she pleases, and everyone else is restricted by this curfew. And not only that, but she let Yama into the school during curfew, which is going to make Yama potentially look like the killer. And you can already tell that he's kind of thinking that he might be the killer. So this is going to get interesting. We'll find out what happens. I'm logging off now. I'll see you guys later. And remember to do something nice for a stranger today. You may just save a life. Bye!